All right, so haven't heard much about this case in a while, but Disney attempted again to stop the trial. Well, the article says stall the trial, but they were probably trying to stop it. But anyway, with the Gina Carano's sex discrimination case, they're calling it. So, to the article, unless there's a shift in the legal force or a big buck settlement, the Walt Disney Company and Gina Carano will go head-to-head at trial next year over the former mixed martial artist 2021 firing from The Mandalorian. And so far, at least they don't say when the trial will start. I'm still unsure. Now, granted, I can see Gina Carano having a case. I just don't know if sex discrimination is the way to go. But then again, Disney is claiming things that I don't buy either, so. Oh, they do have a trial date. The trial will start on September 29, 2025. After having beaten the Mouse House and its Daniel Petrocelli-led legal team's move earlier this year to get her Elon Musk-backed sex discrimination and wrongful dismissal suit tossed, Carano this week scored another winner with a federal judge denying Disney's desire for a stay of proceedings and interlocutory appeal. Having considered the party submissions, the relevant law, and the record in this case, the court denies the motion, U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett wrote earlier this week, in refusing to give the green light to Disney's hopes of taking the matter to another court and overturning her July 24th decision rejecting their motion for dismissal. Judge Garnett has set the clock ticking on the trial. In fact, get away. In fact, with her own previous ruling being challenged by the very nature of Disney's latest motion and desire for an appeal, Judge Garnett made sure to knock down any notion Disney and its outside counsel may or may not have had of getting the upper hand. Defendants do not, however, explain how a Ninth Circuit opinion affirming the court's order would alleviate the burden of responding to the discovery plaintiff has propounded to date, nor is it apparent to the court how such a decision could provide such relief, she writes in the 10-page order. In any event, arguments regarding discovery, which the court notes were not at issue in the order, do not appear to have any bearing on the termination of the litigation and do not persuade the court that certification is appropriate here. AKA, don't waste my time, we're all adults here. In fact, Judge Garnett may have tipped her hand to take on all... Wait, let me try that again. In fact, Judge Garnett may have tipped her hand... It's just badly worded. May have tipped her hand to her take on all this last month when she decided that there would be no need for oral argument on either the appeal certification or the stay by the lawyers. On September 19th, the case docket said no appearance necessary. With this new order from Judge Garnett allowing discovery to move forward in the matter, it means Carano and her lawyers will be getting a look soonish at what went on internally at Disney 3 years ago in the lead up to the on-the-rise actress playing Rebel shock trooper Cara Dune being given the pink slip over views she expressed on social media and otherwise. Whether or not that leads to the injunction that will get Carano her Mandalorian gig back is a whole other matter. And I have mentioned this previously, actually every time there's an article about this, that why would she want her job back? I mean, I get it. She probably made more money at Disney than she did at the Daily Wire. I understand that part. But if a company wrongfully terminated you, why would you want to work for that company? Still, in also seeking a variety of unspecified damages in the case, Carano is taking the win today. I am obviously very pleased with the opportunity to keep moving forward with the judicial process and into discovery, she wrote Thursday on social media of the October 15th order from Judge Garnett. While I wish this was not necessary, as it is not my desire to be in this battle in court, I will not shrink away from it because it is hard or uncomfortable. Disney did not respond to requests for comment on this latest loss in the Carano case. If the Bob Iger-run media giant does respond, this post will be updated. In its April 9th dismissal motion against Carano's February filed suit over being fired from The Mandalorian, Disney insisted, as it had before, that the ex-martial arts fighter lost her high-profile Star Wars series gig 3 years ago because of her decision to publicly trivialize the Holocaust by comparing criticism of political conservatives to the annihilation of millions of Jewish people, notably not thousands, was the final straw for Disney. Now, see, this is where things get murky. On the one hand, her views are atrocious. I do not deny that. On the other hand, people using social media as a reason to fire people, that just doesn't sit well with me. Now, if they pointed out, like her anti-trans views, if they brought in how this could affect Pedro Pascal because his sister is trans, that I could see as being a legit reason that she makes people at the company uncomfortable because they are part of a group that she has maligned. That I could see. Granted, she is maligning Holocaust survivors by comparing them to political conservatives, but I'm pretty sure none of those work at Disney. I mean, it's possible that there could be relatives of Holocaust survivors or Holocaust victims who are working at Disney, and that could be an angle, but that's not what they're going for. They're just basically saying, well, she said this on social media. Now if she advocated something illegal on social media, then again, that would be fine. But just the fact that she said something boneheaded online, there's plenty of that online. I mean, our unemployment would be through the roof if you could get fired for saying something really stupid. After portraying fan fave bounty hunter Cara Dune for 2 seasons on The Mandalorian, this all came to a breaking point. Disney, it seems, when Carano shared a TikTok post in 2021 that looked to compare the current divided political climate in America to Nazi Germany. Again, I'm not so sure that's a bad take because on the one hand, I realize she's comparing the political conservatives as being today's Jews from the Holocaust. But fun fact, political opponents were part of the Holocaust. But But she isn't wrong about comparing the political climates, just in the wrong way. Because the positions she's advocating for, and I assume she's a Trump supporter, he's fascist. He echoes the rhetoric from Nazi Germany. So she is right in a way, just not in the way she thinks. Responding in May, Carano's Cher Jaffe lawyers said, after admitting that they discriminated against Carano for her personal political beliefs and subjected her to disparate treatment from her similarly situated male co-stars, the Walt Disney Company, Lucasfilm Ltd., and Huckleberry Industries, collectively defendants, assert that the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gives them absolute immunity. The defendants are incorrect. Clearly, to some small degree at least, Judge Garnett agrees. Now, I do not agree that this was sexism, because what Mark Hamill and Pedro Pascal were responding to was what was actually coming out of Trump's mouth, which was fascist, Hitler-esque shit. And he still does. He's actually getting worse about it. So, in that regard, no, I don't think sexism had anything to do with this. Now, political beliefs, okay, fine. But one side was actually listening to the words coming out of people's mouths, and the other one is being hysterically, I want to be a victim shit. Which, I mean, what is up with Republicans and their persecution complex? Nobody's persecuting them. Just because there are consequences for the shit that comes out of your mouths is not persecution. It's people don't agree with the shit coming out of your mouth. Now, whether she should have been fired for that, like I said, there are ways around that. If she made her co-workers uncomfortable, and simply because of their situation, like basically besmirching Holocaust survivors, and if someone who works at Disney is a relative of a Holocaust survivor, obviously they're not going to want to be around Gina Carano. She's going to make them uncomfortable. Her anti-trans, which isn't even being considered in the suit, but her anti-trans views. I doubt Pedro Pascal's the only one who has a family member who's trans. Or there could be people who work at Disney who are trans, and they don't want to be associated with her. They don't want to be around her. Those, to me, are more winning strategies than what Disney is doing. I never liked this idea that, oh, someone posted something horrible on social media, let's fire them. If it spills over into real life, in either the examples I used, or if they actually become belligerent to a certain group of people, that would be a great reason to fire them. Just saying really horrible things shouldn't, because most people will look at the shit Gina Carano says and realize that it's not Lucasfilm saying that, it's not Disney saying that, it's Gina Carano. No reasonable person would think that this is the viewpoint of Disney and or Lucasfilm. So that was one of the reasons Disney gave as to why they fired her, and no reasonable person would actually think that these are views shared by Disney simply because she still works there. Because this is where I have a hard time. Yes, fascism should be defeated. Fascism should be stepped on. But at the same time, these people need to make a living. And as long as they don't actually, as long as their daily lives do not, their social media life and their daily life don't interfere with one another, like they don't, again, they aren't unnecessarily belligerent to a certain group of people just because they exist, or whatever criminal activity they might engage in. As long as that isn't happening, I understand why people would see a person's social media post and feel uncomfortable, but this isn't retail. This isn't a case of I have no choice but to be in this person's presence. So, unless the people around Gina Carano felt uncomfortable, I just don't see how Disney is going to win this suit. Now, whether she can be forced to get her job back, again, I don't know why she would want her job back. Disney should have just killed her character off. That way they could just point and say, we already killed her off. We can't do anything. So that would have been the smart thing to do. But, like I said, I don't know why she would want her job. I mean, I know why, money-wise. But even if she gets her job back, how do you think her relationships are going to go with the other actors? I mean, I read in a previous article that one of her character witnesses, one of the people she asked to be a character witness was Pedro Pascal, which puts him in a horrible position because, again, he knows how she feels about his sister. So even though he claims that they're friends, are they really? Would he really be willing to stick his neck out for her? And if she were to get her job, regardless if she were to get her job back, how would that work? Because there's a Mandalorian movie coming up, and Pedro Pascal was actually seen on set. So, which implies that he'll have his helmet on. So if that happens, now granted they're in the middle of filming, so any future Mandalorian projects would be the ones to include her and not the movie because it's already in the process of being made. But, I mean, why would he want to be in the same room as her? So, knowing how she feels about his sister. So, yeah. Yeah, I just don't see how a court can force a company to rehire her. I mean, pay compensation for wrongful firing, that I can see. But rehire, I don't think they can do that. And that would set a horrible precedent to force people to rehire people that they wrongfully fired simply because of how awkward that situation would be for everybody involved. And it just, I just don't see how that could work. So that is the end of that article. So we probably won't hear anything more till a year from now, which at least we know what's happening. So I doubt, it sounds like Disney has been, smacked, saying, yeah, just stop wasting our time. This trial is going forward. Save it for the trial. So we'll see what happens at the trial. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.